teams have meant as much to the magic of the FA Cup as Manchester City over the years. Here we celebrate the heroics that make the difference between agony and ecstasy. From yesteryear to the present day, this is Manchester City's greatest goals. And where better to start than the 1969 FA Cup final victory over Leicester.
Lee with the throw in, and Somerville the one who's made himself available. He is covered by Woolwich over here. Somerville is beyond Woolwich, and here's the chance for Young. Manchester City lead. Sweetly struck indeed by the left boot of Neil Young, and he couldn't have asked for it to be in a better place for him. But what a contribution from Somerville. The City fans are celebrating, the Manchester City fans. Here is Somerville. It looked as though Woolwich might contain him. He gets a touch of fortune maybe there as the ball spins off the centre-back, but he pushes it into the path of Neil Young. End result, 1-0 Manchester City.
Nil-nil here approaching the break. City determined to take the lead into half-time. What a way to do it.
Oh, what a great strike! Oh, City have scored! And it's Berkovic! That goal coming in the 43rd minute from a corner which Ipswich will hotly dispute. It's a wonderful strike by Al Berkovic. It just flew in like a shell. What a strike!
Peter Reid may have become a Manchester City club legend, but he wasn't much of a goal scorer, except on this occasion in 1992.
For City here as they look for a breakthrough. This Middlesbrough rearguard though back in numbers. It's lofted into the zone, and there is Quinn, and here is Reid, the old grey fox. Peter Reid scores for Manchester City. He doesn't get many goals, but when he does they tend to be quality. The role of Quinn was crucial. It's laid across here for the tall fella who doesn't look as though he's going to get a clean header on it. The defender jumps ahead of him with a little touch down from Quinn, and the finish is critical and clinical from Peter Reid for Manchester City. Sweetly done indeed.
Uwe Rosler scored over 60 goals for the club, and he was especially prolific in the Cup.
It is Kinkladze and Rosler! Uwe Rosler, a wonderful goal, marking completely right at the back as the inquest goes on with the Leicester City players. Magnificent free kick, and Rosler came round the front of two Leicester defenders to get it.
John Bond first signed Kevin Reeves when he was the manager at Norwich. When he moved to City, he brought Reeves with him again, this time for a cool £1 million.
Paul Power, he'll tease, and there seem to be so many yellow shirts around him there. McDonald seems to be going the wrong way for the time being. Now Jerry Gow will try and put some impetus into the move. Here's an effort from Reeves, and a goal from Reeves. Came from nothing. He seemed to be almost going the wrong way. He had his back to goal when he received, but boy, did he finish well. Look at this. They were going the wrong way until Jerry Gow popped it forward. It looked as though Bennett might be the one to be in there, but Reeves brings it down with the right foot and smacks it with the left beyond Baker. Manchester City 1, Norwich City 0.
Life at Manchester City was always going to be tough for Nicky Summerbee. Following in the footsteps of his famous father Mike, he signed for the Blues in 1994. It took him 3 seasons to find his scoring boots, but find them he did, here latching on to Georgie Kinkladze's mazy run to bury the chance against Brentford. After a third-round draw at Roker Park, City entertained Sunderland in this replay. The visitors boasted a formidable defensive record when they arrived at Main Road, but that wouldn't stop City. David Cross heading onto the bar here, midfield legend Asa Hartford the man to follow up. Hartford was by now in his second spell with the club, and this goal propelled City toward a place in the 4th round. Voted Player of the Year in his first season at Main Road, Colin Hendry became an instant legend with the Kippax faithful. On hand to stab home here after David White's header had been saved. Hendry's goal proved the difference between the sides during City's visit to Turf Moor in 1991. Alan Ball's first signing as City manager was a little-known Georgian named Georgie Kinkladze. The 1995-96 season was his first at the club, and this was his first goal in the FA Cup.
Oh, good injection of pace by Georgie Kinkladze. There might be no stopping it. Still Kinkladze! What a wonderful goal from the little Georgian! He really is a talent, unearthed by Alan Ball. And this, a quite mesmeric goal. Cleverly used Flitcroft as the dummy, then he was off, leaving a trail of Leicester City players in his wake. And the finish, calm, precise and magnificent. That is some goal.
Dennis Stewart's record of 107 goals in 259 games speaks for itself. The fact that he was a winger makes it all the more impressive, and in 1978 it was Leeds on the receiving end.
Watson will take the free kick. Bell. Stewart! City get the breakthrough! And it's Dennis Stewart who finally beats Harvey. Watson floating the free kick forward. Bell with the glancing header into the danger area. And Stewart winning it against Reaney.
Jerry Gow was only with City for just over a season, but the effect he had was huge.
Might just be touched to him by McDonnell, it is, and it is Gow, and it is a goal. Jerry Gow knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he did it exquisitely. And the ball flew in wide of Clive Baker, who had no hope at all. And Gow has made it 2-0 here. He looked up, saw the gap, belted it wide of the wall and wide of the flailing arms of Baker. 2-0 City.
Peter Beagrie's career at City was cruelly cut short by injury, but in 1995 he scored a goal that Georgie Kinkladze himself would have been proud of.
Beagrie's got Terry Phelan to his outside. And still Beagrie. Oh, and he's deceived the goalkeeper at his near post. Peter Beagrie scores for Manchester City. No challenges coming in on him. Defenders bamboozled, goalkeeper embarrassed, and City on the ball through Peter Beagrie.
In their first FA Cup match since winning the trophy in 1969, City took a trip to Hull, and once again it was Neil Young who called the tune.
Well, the kick was long. This is Ken Houghton trying to win the ball for Hull. He can't get there, and here is Neil Young for Manchester City. It's Young, and the man who won the FA Cup for Manchester City has now given them the lead at Boothbury Park. And it dropped so nicely for him there. The ball almost seemed to sit up. It was an invitation that Neil Young could not refuse, and the two despairing defenders can't get there. Manchester City lead Hull City by 1-0.
Sean Goater simply couldn't help but score in the cup. Here's his strike against Ipswich in 2002.
Stewart to Jermaine Wright. That's given away cheaply. Here's Goater on the left foot. Manchester City lead 2-0, and Sean Goater has done it again. It's goal number 25 for the season for Goater. And Manchester City finally get the goal, the second goal that their football in this second half has always threatened. What a good finish, and what a quick break. Ipswich were always backpedaling. Look, City are all over them. They're outnumbered. Goater times his run to perfection. Haridason came across but couldn't get there in time to prevent the left foot shot. And Ben Arbia again with a wonderful little touch into the path of Sean Goater, who isn't going to miss from there.
Signed at the start of the season from West Ham, David Cross already had 8 for City by the time this one went in against Sunderland.
Ranson, as Bodak on his outside, always looks so frail, Bodak, but he has the ability to run beyond people. He'll square it to Asa Hartford. Hartford, a little chip up from him, and a goal! David Cross. Well, the goals keep on coming for the big fellow, and they get better and better. But he seemed to be in isolation there. Asa Hartford has picked him out though. Bodak had played his part out on the right touchline, taking it in from Ranson. Look at Asa Hartford moving towards Ranson, and then he just looks up, chips it into the area where Cross had become an isolated figure, and it's a perfect header.
After drawing the original fixture 1-1 at home, City travelled to Elm Park to face Reading in a replay.
Sharon out wide to David White. Back in. Sharon! Oh, good goal, City. Just 3 minutes gone. And Mike Sharon playing the 1-2 with David White. And then nodding in his 9th goal of the season. A really incisive start by Manchester City. And the delivery from White was perfect.
Despite going out of the FA Cup in the 5th round at Old Trafford, the best goal of the game came from the blue half of Manchester.
Next on. Understand. Oh, another chance, and this time it is in from Michael Tarnett.
An away tie at Deepdale is one of those classic banana skins in cup football for top-flight sides, but with the impressive Stephen Ireland in your side, things are made just a little bit easier.
Karadi, the ball whipped away, Ireland! That seals it! Stephen for Manchester City, and they go through serenely to the last 8 of this season's FA Cup. First time hit, well away from the goalkeeper's dive.
Niall Quinn signed for the Blues in 1990 for £800,000. He went on to repay City many times over. This third-round tie against Leicester gave Quinn the chance to show once again why he was always such a favourite with the fans. Ian Brightwell's younger brother, David, took some time to settle at Manchester City. In this third-round tie at Meadow Lane, the Blues were down 2-1 in the second half, when Peter Beagrie's cross was flicked on for Brightwell, the younger, to head into the empty net. This goal enough to draw the match and force a replay back at Main Road. In 1979, Malcolm Allison had paid £250,000 for Steve McKenzie when the youngster was still to make a league appearance.
So I wonder if Lightning can strike twice here. Jerry Gow, 1 goal already, looks to be lining himself up for this one, for another tilt at the Norwich net. It is Gow now, he touches it off to his right, it's McKenzie! They didn't need Jerry Gow to score. McKenzie could do it. Thank you very much, he says. Clive Baker doesn't know what's hitting him, poor chap. He's been beaten 3 times already, and Gow may have had his vision obscured, so he touched it to its right, and it's a sublime strike by McKenzie, and it actually comes off the head of the defender too, but it's McKenzie's goal. Even though I think the last touch was off Joe Royle of all people.
Feed the Goat and He Will Score, one of the most memorable songs to echo around Main Road since Blue Moon. And with good reason. Sean Goater scored 9 FA Cup goals in 9 FA Cup starts. Here's one of them against Chester in 2000. United States international Damarcus Beasley was only on loan at Manchester City for a short spell, but provided energy and endeavour when he did play. Andy Morrison initially joined City on loan from Huddersfield before signing a permanent deal. Although he couldn't cement a regular place in the team, he did prove his worth, connecting excellently here with Danny Tiato's corner to put City into a 1-0 lead. After drawing the first match 2-2, City brought Notts County back to their place for the replay, and what followed was a masterclass from Uwe Rosler, a match that would see him go on to score 3 more, his best ever haul in the Cup. Another man whose career was cruelly cut short by injury. But Paul Lake's greatest moment came in the FA Cup tie at the Old Den when he scored this screamer in what would prove to be his last full campaign with Manchester City. A cruciate ligament injury, picked up against Aston Villa in September 1990, would mark the end of Lake's playing days. But the fans will always remember him for this great strike. In 1986, Gordon Davis was on hand to send the Blues ahead against an impressive Watford side.
City winning possession there from John Barnes. Phillips, or a precision pass for Lillis. He's got Davis in the middle. Davis! Good goal, City. And Watford were always struggling. Once John Barnes lost possession deep in that City half. A precision ball from Phillips, and Lillis with all the time to run into the penalty area and pick out Davis as he came towards him. And a good diving header.
Norwich were trying to claw their way back from 3 goals down when this happened.
Well, there's some nice touches there, but the danger is Norwich have left themselves totally exposed here, and Bennett's on his way. This is David Bennett, it may well be number 4. 4 it is, and Manchester City are turning it into a rout. They are on their way into the 5th round of the FA Cup, and what poise shown by Bennett. There he makes the break. He's beyond the last line of defence. He had to show composure. He still had the goalkeeper to get around, but round him he went, and 10 minutes left in this game, but Manchester City are home and dry. 4 goals to 0, and it came after some incessant Norwich pressure there, but once Bennett was on his way, he looked confident. Round Clive Baker he goes, and that's a lovely finish too from the young striker. What a day for him as a substitute. 4-0.
Steve Lomas may not be credited as one of City's great goal scorers, but Georgi Kinkladze seemed to bring out the best in anyone.
He is absolutely unstoppable tonight, Georgi Kinkladze. Walsh with the challenge, but still Kinkladze has it. Rolls it square for Lomas. Even Stevie Lomas is banging them in from distance now. But no surprises that it was Kinkladze who was the architect. Tricking his way through the Leicester back line. A little bit of luck there perhaps. And just rolling it perfectly into the path of Lomas. With no challenges coming in, he had the time to pick his spot. And the finish was one Kinkladze would have been proud of.
1-0 up at the time, Darren Huckabee stepped forward to show the skills that made him such a fan's favourite.
Here's Huckabee, hugging that touchline. Picks up pace, still Huckabee, surely he has! That's what he's all about. Darren Huckabee, terrorising defenders with his pace. He just skipped past the challenges. First one, then another, to give himself a clear sight of goal.
The first goal in City's 1998 FA Cup campaign came from an all-too-familiar source, Uwe Rosler.
Whitley. Oh, Wayne Jacobs has made a meal of it, lost it. Uwe Rosler, round the goalkeeper, and it's 1-0 to Manchester City. And Bradford only have themselves to blame. Something or nothing ball fall from Whitley. Jacobs with a real mess of controlling it, couldn't get back in time to deny Rosler possession. And from there, with the goalkeeper committing himself, it was a formality. Manchester City 1, Bradford 0.
A draw in the first match, the deadlock was broken at the Walker Stadium with a finely worked goal.
Trevor Sinclair got in behind Leicester easily there. Half chance here, Sobieski! Expertly finished by Antoine Sobieski, and Manchester City strike first in this cup tie. 11 minutes on the clock. Leicester City torn asunder defensively, and frankly it was all too easy for the visitors here. Clever little ball around the corner by Macken. Trevor Sinclair was looking all the time for Anelka, but Sobieski, nobody tracked his run, and he converts perfectly with his head. Down into the ground, made it difficult for Walker.
Despite trailing at home to West Ham and heading out of the competition, Kiki Musampa provided something special to behold.
Done. It's kept going well. Still wants it. That's Croft. And then Musampa! And they have that lifeline. Come on, that's the message now from Stuart Pearce. We can still save this. Kiki Musampa with an excellent strike here. No defender really got to him on the volley. And there was nothing that Shaka Hislop could do about that.
1-0 down with half an hour to play. Step forward Georgi Kinkladze to rescue the tie.
Whitley takes it on from Edge Hill. Out on the right-hand side here is Kinkladze with a bit of room to manoeuvre. It's still Kinkladze, still Kinkladze. Oh, what skill, Kinkladze! Fantastic goal! Georgi Kinkladze. He has to be one of the most gifted players around, and that is a goal of supreme quality. Just count the touches, 1, 2, 3, 4, they go on and on and on, all on the left foot. They cannot contain him, and that has lifted the crowd here. It's one of the goals of the season and one of the great goals of the FA Cup from Georgi Kinkladze, the little Georgian, but what a supreme talent he is.
Some players have the ability to turn a tie on its head in a moment. And for 6 seasons at City, Shaun Goater was one of those men. Nil-nil into the second half against Coventry, when Goater rose above the defenders to send a majestic header into the net. Enough for City to clinch a 1-0 victory. David White was the man to make the difference as City hosted Barnsley in 1993.
Holden. Feeling in space, an awful lot of space as well. And it's a good ball! And the second attempt is put in by David White. Good cross by Phelan. White's header just gave Butler more of a chance than perhaps he should have had, but he couldn't hold it. White powers home his 15th goal of the season to give City a 1-0 lead.
Here's Gary Flitcroft sending City into a 2-0 lead at Highfield Road.
Flitcroft. Coventry really are retreating. There's a touch on the ball for Lomas, and here is Lomas again now. It's Lomas who pulls it back in. Look at the number of sky blue shirts in there. It's away first time by Dublin, and Flitcroft! Gary Flitcroft for Manchester City. And they just kept battering away at the Coventry door, and eventually it fell down. it's an excellent finish from Flitcroft. Lomas must have had 3 attempts to play the ball in, and ultimately he succeeded. It looped in off the defender and met on the volley by Flitcroft. Well, if at first you don't succeed, keep on trying. That's the motto, and that's the finish. Credit to Lomas that he just wouldn't give in. Not even Dion Dublin could get it away. Well done by Gary Flitcroft.
It's as you were for Kari Ingebrigtsen here, scoring a near replica of his first goal to send the Blues into a 2-goal lead. The Norwegian international may only have lasted 2 seasons at City, but his performance in this tie would ensure that City fans would never forget him. It took a while, but finally Paul Power handed City a place in the 1981 FA Cup final.
Well, it's just the moment for Manchester City to break through. Paul Power looks to be teeing it up. It is indeed Power, and we've got a goal. We have a goal at long last. It's taken a long time in coming, but the left boot of Paul Power has dispatched the ball beyond Paul Cooper, and they're hanging off the rafters here. It may have taken a deflection, or it may have just looped off Power's boot. You'll probably tell from this replay. Well, it's beyond Cooper, and Paul Power scores.
Instrumental in helping City maintain top-flight status the previous season, Paul Walsh once again showed his class when Villa visited in 1995.
Manchester City keeping the pressure on here. This is Ian Brightwell. Oh, that's a great chip ball over the defence. Walsh! Well, they do score some good goals, Manchester City, and that's one of them. Terrific chipped pass, really, from Ian Brightwell to completely take out Villa's defence. He looked up to see where people were and dropped it on a sixpence, and put away with great confidence by Paul Walsh.
Son of the legendary Brian Clough, Nigel initially made his name at Nottingham Forest and Liverpool before joining City in 1996. This strike against Coventry was enough to send the Blues on their way into the 5th round, just 1 month after he first signed for them.
And City's goal scored by number 18, Nigel Clough.
Time now for probably the best goal Paul Dickov ever scored in a City shirt.
Darlington have really defended stoutly. They'll have to defend again here now. Priest has been magnificent in goal, but here is Dickov, and he's beaten him this time. He's beaten him all ends up. Paul Dickov takes the salute. They are going demented on the terraces here at Feethams, but Paul Dickov equalises for Manchester City, and maybe Darlington's brave resistance will come to an end now. What a sweet, sweet strike, though, from the little Scott Dickov. He could not have hit this one any better at all. 2 Darlington defenders, ironically, got in one another's way before he did that to them. But it's as good a strike as you could wish to see.
Here's Darren Huckabee to round things off at Portman Road in 2002.
And he's onside here. Here's Huckabee. City can make it 4. Here's Huckabee. He has, and it's all over now. It's a glorious night for Manchester City. Oh, to be a Manchester City supporter. The team are in full flow. Darren Huckabee's pace, getting him past the Ipswich defenders, taking it round Andy Marshall, who's had no chance really with the 4 goals that Manchester City have scored. What a scoreline. It's Ipswich 1, Manchester City 4.
1-0 down in the first half. Manchester City needed to show fighting spirit in front of a partisan Geordie crowd. Who better than Uwe Rosler to level things up? This goal, his 15th of the season. Rosler had also scored in 3 of the 4 previous meetings with Newcastle United. Here he was on hand as Pavel Srnicek fumbled Peter Beagrie's corner, and City were back on track.
The equaliser for Manchester City scored by number 28, Uwe Rosler.
The match ball may have belonged to Kare Ingebrigtsen, but the goal of the game came when Alan Kernaghan struck this corker to send the Blues fans over the moon. The 1981 final had hardly got going when the oldest player on the pitch turned on the style.
Such an energetic player, Bennett, and he's involved twice there. Still they take the game to Tottenham. Ranson will cross this one in. Here's Hutchinson, and Tommy Hutchinson for Manchester City is engulfed by his delirious teammates. A flying header, too hot for Alexic. They really worked hard for this, none more so than David Bennett, who'd helped to set up the platform. And then Ranson's ball across here. Hutchinson doesn't get many with his head, but he's got this one all right. Alexic cannot keep that out, and Manchester City lead in the cup final.
The 1956 FA Cup final is best remembered for the heroics of Manchester City's goalkeeper Bert Trautmann, who played with a broken neck for part of the match. But before that, it was heroics of a different kind, as Jackie Dyson played a cool 1-2 with Ken Barnes and put City back into the lead, a lead that Manchester City would hold on to. Here's Mike Sherrin putting City in front against Spurs in 1993.
Phelan to Fitzroy Simpson. Phelan on the run, and he'll get there before the defender. Good cross. Sherrin! Oh, good header! Manchester City score in 10 minutes. Nothing that Thorstvedt could do about it. And Sherrin winning that ball in the air against Tottenham's 2 central defenders, Mabbutt and Ruddock. Good overlap by the left back. And a good deep cross.
If anything cements a player as a Manchester City legend, then it's scoring against the old enemy United at Old Trafford. Just 11 minutes had passed when Uwe Rosler ghosted through the United defence, latching onto Georgie Kincladsey's pass to lift the ball over Peter Schmeichel. City into a 1-goal lead, and the fans sent into ecstasy. Here's Sean Goater to give City a 1-0 lead against Leeds in 2000.
Still plenty of blue shirts forward. Headed away, Horlock hooks it back in. Goater! Oh, good finish from Sean Goater. Did really well to adjust. It's a 15th goal of the season for the prolific City striker. Leeds getting the initial ball away. Horlock just hooking it back into the fray. Perhaps a suspicion of offside against Goater. But he's taken the header really well. Just got goal side of Woodgate, held him off. And Sean Goater scores for City.
One of the few players ever to score in consecutive FA Cup finals, Bobby Johnston got the first of those goals in 1955 against Newcastle. Joe Hayes with the cross for Johnston to power into the Newcastle net. A goal to bring the sides level at 1-1. The fourth and final goal in City's 1994 third-round tie against Leicester, sealing Kari Ingebrigtsen's hat-trick and capping a fine all-round performance from the Scandinavian striker. Here's our final Sean Goater goal of the collection, his 2001 strike against Liverpool. 4-1 down at the time, but Goater refused to let City lay down and accept defeat. Combining well with Darren Huckabee here, Goater coolly slotting home his 6th goal of the season to give the City fans something to cheer about. Here's Steve McKenzie drawing the sides level spectacularly in the 1981 FA Cup final replay.
So City will look for something here from this free kick. Tottenham back to defend it, and defend it well they do. Little drop here from McKenzie though. What a goal, what a strike, Steve McKenzie. And Manchester City are back level in the game again. And they will not go away so far as Tottenham are concerned. They thought they dealt with the free kick with the clearing headers there. But when it's knocked back in by Hutchison, McKenzie with an absolute cracker of a volley.
Ian Bishop was in his second spell with the club when he scored this cracker.
Rannaby getting it away. Here's Ian Bishop. Oh, what a screamer from Ian Bishop! That is a magnificent strike. Completely out of nothing. And this could well be Manchester City's day. Rannaby did well to climb above Goater. Bishop chased it. Set himself up with his first touch and his second, spearing it past Nigel Martin. He could not have hit that any better. A fantastic goal from Bishop. A fantastic day for Manchester City.
Terry Phelan never scored a better goal than this fantastic effort against Spurs.
Good strong run by Phelan. And still he goes, and still he goes. He's got right through all of them. and he scores a fantastic goal. Oh, and the expression of Terry Phelan doesn't change, but that was a goal to dream about. From inside his own half, he just sliced right through Tottenham's defence. Mabbutt tried to get in a challenge, but Phelan was uncatchable. It might not be enough to rescue this game for Manchester City, still trailing 4-2, but it's a fantastic goal.
Where else to finish but Bobby Johnston's strike to complete the 1956 FA Cup final victory.
Eddie Brown, he does have blistering pace, but out comes Bert Trautmann to deny him. The German goalkeeper, such a brave fellow, and he'll punt it long. It's a